Hey guys, SuperHorrorBro Mike here, and in today's video, we're talking about Bendy and the Dark Revival. Now I know it's been a very long time since we've talked about Bendy on this channel. I think it's been about 10 months since the last teaser screenshot came out, and I think that may have been the last time I covered the game, pretty much because there's been no new information really, so it wasn't really worth bringing it back up, because then it just gets people's expectations up, and you know, until the game is ready to be shown again, I didn't really want to do that. However, as a huge Bendy fan, it's one of my most anticipated games for the entire year, not just horror games, but games in general. We finally have some new information on the game, it seems. This has actually come from the Joey Drew Studios store page. So basically, when you go on the Joey Drew Studios website and you go to the store, it no longer is there, it's been removed, so you can't go and buy merchandise or anything like that from the official Joey Drew Studios page, which seems really weird. But then you look at things in more detail and you see there's actually this new screenshot, and this seems to come from Bendy and the Dark Revival. This is nowhere to be found in the original game, this is obviously a new area, and we're going to talk more about what this new area entails in a second, but in the center of the image is the text, "We will return when the Dark Revival begins." So this is interesting because basically they're saying the store's going to come back when Dark Revival drops, when it releases. And this makes sense obviously because they're probably going to have a lot of new merchandise to sell alongside the game, but it is weird that they would shut the store now ahead of the release of this new game, because obviously when the store's shut, they can't make any kind of money, which seems strange for a business to do, unless the game is actually close to being announced. And my hunch, my little theory here, is that we do have, of course, Bendy's 5th birthday in about a month's time. So Bendy's 5th anniversary will happen on the 10th of February 2022. It's been 5 years at that point since Bendy and the Ink Machine released, and I think for a 5th anniversary, you know, for 5 years of a franchise being out, generally most developers would do something pretty special for that. So with Bendy and the Dark Revival not launching in 2021 as they originally had hoped, and Joey Drew Studios being like really quiet all of a sudden about the game, they haven't really spoken about it properly in almost a year, apart from the immediately like sometimes updating us here and there about, you know, it's still in production, we're still making this game. I think it's probably that they've just been working really hard on it and they're getting ready to show something concrete when it's finally time to do so. And what better time than Bendy's 5th anniversary? So with the store being shut currently, with this new image which says it will come back with the Dark Revival, I have a feeling we might get something for the birthday in February, but don't quote me on that guys, you know, we're not trying to rush the developers here. This is just me being excited for a franchise, this is just me speculating as to when we might get something new, because I really can't wait to see what they bring with this game. It's meant to be darker in tone than the original, you know, a bit more adult. It's meant to have new characters, new environments, and it seems from this image that it's also going to have new gameplay mechanics. So if we do take a look at this image, we can firstly see that it's outside of the main studio. So this is going to be an important area of the game. The main studio, I imagine, is where all the artists are gathered to work on the cartoons. It's like the main hub of Joey Drew Studios. And outside this very Bendy themed door, we have a battery refill station. So what does this actually mean for the gameplay? Well, in the original game, as you'll remember, when we had stuff like flashlights and anything that used power, we didn't actually have to worry about how much power it had left in it. It's not like a game like Alien Isolation or Outlast where we had battery power for all our different devices. In those games you have this sort of management system where you have to worry about how much power you've got. In Bendy it was always kept very simple, if you picked something up you could use it. It now seems they're actually making the gameplay a little bit more complex and bringing it in line with stuff like Alien Isolation, and now we get these charge points where we're going to have to recharge our flashlight, perhaps that electrical pipe we saw in one of the earlier Bendy trailers. All of those kind of devices that use electricity or power of some kind, we're going to have to refill their batteries at these stations, which is going to bring a whole new layer of management to the game and survival to the survival horror aspect of the game, you know, just like in classic horror games of the past. So that's interesting. It's nice to see that they're developing the gameplay beyond what it was in the original game. You may remember we also saw a tool bench in one of the earlier trailers, and I've always speculated that we're probably going to get upgrades of some kind in this game, and I imagine it would work like The Last of Us where you have a tool station, you basically put stuff down on the desk like your pipe or your flashlight, and you can upgrade its power a little bit on these workbenches. And I really hope that that's in there because I love stuff like that in games, and it would be cool scavenging for like supplies, kind of like in Boris and the Dark Survival, but in this new game, and then being able to go to these workstations and upgrade weapons and accessories and stuff like that to make it easier when you're exploring, make yourself more powerful. I think something like that would be really awesome. What's interesting about this image as well is when we brighten it, we can actually see that there's a wall opposite this studio that's now been broken down. So this either suggests that some kind of big battle has just gone down there, maybe between Bendy and Audrey, who's the character we play as in this new game, or maybe we've had to break down the wall, or someone has had to break down the wall to access this main studio, and if that's the case, it's obviously been sealed away for a reason. So something very sinister, something very bad could be hidden inside this main studio here. We're gonna have to wait and see on that one. But the broken wall when the image is brightened is something that I picked up on and just wanted to share with you guys. You know, what do you think this is all about? It's also interesting to note who is front and center on this image. We have two Butcher Gang members. We have Edgar and Charlie there, of course. The reason that this is interesting is because if you look at all of the marketing up to this point for Bendy and the Dark Revival, it becomes very clear that the Butcher Gang are going to be the main antagonists, or at least main characters in some way in this new story. Even on Bendy's Twitter, there was a Happy Holidays piece of artwork posted, and it was really cool. It was the Butcher Gang all gathered in a circle with their presents, looking kind of lonely, but they're opening their presents from one another. And just the fact that the marketing is always on the Butcher Gang this time really suggests that they're going to be key to the story. They're always mischievous, these characters, so maybe they cause something really bad to happen at the studio, and for the Ink Machine to kind of bring Bendy back and, you know, this Dark Revival to occur in the first place. Who knows, but they definitely seem to be key to the story and in the marketing of this game, which is really interesting because I wouldn't have actually thought the Butcher Gang would be that predominant in this new game, but there you go, they are. Maybe they'll actually speak, maybe they'll grow more intelligent themselves and have voices, who knows, but either way, it's exciting to speculate on this kind of stuff. In terms of how I'm going to be handling Bendy on this channel this year, for those of you who are fans of the game series like me, I'm basically going to be bringing it back every time there's relevant information. So that obviously started today. We had the new image and there's the Bendy anniversary coming up, so I kind of wanted to make a topical video in general on that. And this seemed like the perfect time to do it. But also I'm going to be looking at the new Bendy book for Lost Ones, which has hopefully got some new lore for us. I've noticed in the past the Bendy books do often drop some very important lore and world building in them, so I'm eager to read the new Lost Ones book. It's not actually out in the UK here where I live in England. It should be coming out, I think, in the next week or so, and when it does, I'm going to be doing a video on that after I've read it. And yeah, just whenever there's an opportunity to bring back Bendy, whether it's Boris and the Dark Survival getting a new update, which could well happen actually, like we've still got that mystery box in Boris and the Dark Survival, and while that could just be an elaborate joke at this point, how cool would it be if eventually there is one last update which basically unlocks that box within the game and we get some kind of ARG for Bendy and the Dark Revival, or just a release date or a trailer or even a demo included in Boris and the Dark Survival. That would be like really awesome. But again, all of these things take time, and I'm not sure Joey Drew Studios has the time needed to implement that kind of stuff when they're trying to finish up the production of Dark Revival. These are just kind of things that I would like to see, you know, if time wasn't an issue, I guess. But yeah, like I'm going to be doing something on the book, and I'm going to be bringing Bendy back semi-regularly on the channel whenever there's something in the news, and certainly when the game drops we're going to be doing like playthroughs, you know, all our theories and our story explain type videos, our secrets videos, looking at all the different monsters, just the general stuff that I do for horror games on the channel. Bendy has a special place in my heart. As you guys will know, my channel really began around Bendy and the Ink Machine, so Dark Revival is definitely going to be a cornerstone of the channel when it releases, at least for a few months. I'm really excited for this game, as I said. My hunch is they've taken all the time they need to make it something special, something really polished, and deliver the sequel that we all want and deserve. So I'm hoping when this finally drops that it's like super polished, bug-free, and just a really cool story. But either way, this has basically just been a little recap on Bendy. It's back in the news cycle, we finally got something new from them, and yeah, I think we can all agree it's exciting times to be a Bendy fan because we've got that anniversary just around the corner. The new book's just come out, and we're finally getting some new screenshots. So yeah, looks good to me. With that said, guys, thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, remember to leave me a like, comment down below, and of course subscribe for more videos just like this one, and I will see you all on the next one.